Welcome in, welcome friends to the newest edition of Seahawkers What If, the most unique Seahawks preview show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner, and I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandon Schultz. And of course, Flock, we could not traverse the Seahawks multiverse without the protector of that multiverse. And that is Mr. Phil Leidick down there, center square. It is Seahawkers What If. We are rolling beyond that Lambs game. We don't want to talk about that. Brandon and Adam, nice recap. You guys did it live. Felt you captured the spirit of the thing. Got to be honest. You captured it in the moment. And it was a tough one, right? It is what it is. But we have to look past that and maybe the blessing of the short week, right? It's like, hey, it's Thanksgiving, a time to give some thanks and some blessings. It's a short week. We can't dwell on that Niners game, lost by 1. So let's turn the page and let's get into it. Brandon, how is your Thanksgiving week? We're recording this on Tuesday. The week goes fast. How's your Thanksgiving week shaping up for you?
It's going well. We can't dwell on the loss to the Rams. We can't dwell on any future loss until after it happens. And hopefully it doesn't. And because, yes, the Niners are coming up and I am ready. I've notified family. In fact, I was the first one to notify my family that it is a game on Thanksgiving. And then in a separate text chain, my mother-in-law checked in and said, we're going to have to do something different because the Seahawks are playing in the evening. So it's working its way through the family and everyone is now on notice.
They understand. And Mr. Phil, you're in a different location as it is. So it looks like you are already with family.
Yes. Over here in Linwood, Washington with my wife's family. We're having a Thanksgiving of 30 at 1:30 on Thanksgiving Day because some of us at the meal are headed off to the game right after we eat. And so hopefully there'll be a lot of reasons for rejoicing. Clinton, I think, accidentally said we're not going to dwell on the Niners loss. I hope he hasn't been able to look into the future because that might be a potential outcome. I just hope it's not the outcome within the version of the multiverse that we find ourselves, because my sons, my nephew, it's some of their very first time going to a Hawks game. And I just hate to spoil Thanksgiving with your prediction already, Clinton.
You know what I think I did? We're not going to dwell on the Niners loss. The Niners loss, right? We'll rejoice.
That's what it is.
We'll enjoy. We'll recap. We won't dwell. So maybe just a little turn of the phrase there as we head into this Thanksgiving week. Well, Phil, that's awesome. 30 people. That's a great get. And then you get to go to the game.
Yes.
Wilson, of course, Wilson Khan, his family, they're going to the game as well. I'm sure there's other flockers there too. So, well, let's get to it. Let's get into this Thanksgiving short week edition of Seahawkers What If. And we will not be doing a previously with the protector. Here's your previously. 49ers are a good football team. They score at will. We'll talk about the game. They're good. Brock Purdy looks to be back. I think we're better than Tampa Bay, and we'll see how this all susses out, right? So there's your previously. We're going to get right into the theme this week. So, Mr. Phil, take it away. What'd you cook up for this Thanksgiving special?
That's a good way to ask because, of course, Thanksgiving is the greatest holiday in the known world. I love it. I always look forward to it. It's a perfect week for me to enjoy Thanksgiving. Lots of family challenges, sports fan challenges. It's good to pause and be thankful for the big things. And hopefully we have more to be thankful for as we come into this game. And here's why I think we need to win, or I think it'd be right for us to win, I should say. Whiner fans. Think about whiner fans, the most opposite of thankful fans that any of us have ever met, that any of us know of. It's only right that us 12s would have a celebratory night because, after all, 12s Hawk fans, we look for ways to be thankful. Whiners, even in wins, they find things to whine and cry and moan about. So I'm not talking about the players. I'm talking about what us fans all deserve. We should win this Thanksgiving. So, gentlemen, Brandon will go first in a moment. But what if we 12s can see a lot to be thankful for against the 40 Whiner fans team this week? So I have a few Thanksgiving categories, just 3. We're kicking it old school. There's no, we don't get to have the graphics. That'll come back next week, more than likely. But we're just going to do 3 categories. Stuffing. Stuffing is one of those key areas of Thanksgiving. So there's 2 questions there. Then we will get to side dishes and gravy. And because there's no board for Brandon to select off of, we're just going to go in order. Brandon is first this week. We start with the first question on stuffing. This for you, Brandon.
This is where I was going to start anyway.
Oh, you wanted to start with the stuffing. Okay, so it just worked out perfect. I think it's hard to just hear and memorize things such as that. So I thought I would just pick for you guys and make it go simpler.
Very nice.
What if we can stuff CMC? I heard Pete on his show saying he is the number one target. Like, he is what makes that thing go. As someone who lost an engine in my van, CMC is the engine of the Weiner team. What if we can stuff him? How can Pete, because I know it's his mission, how can Pete make it happen against Christian McCaffrey? Stuff that man.
Yeah, well, the big thing with stuffing Christian McCaffrey is tackling him the first opportunity that you get, because one of the big stats with Christian McCaffrey is yards after contact. He's leading all Niner running backs, obviously, but 563 yards of his come after contact. And so that's going to be a really big key for the defense. It's an issue that we've seen with them with tackling. And if they can get him on first contact, that's going to be a big help.
All right, Clinton, we know McCaffrey wants to stuff all the stat sheets. How can we stuff him and keep him from doing so?
Yeah, so, we definitely have to tackle those Yak numbers are what they are. And, what do you end up serving? What do you serve stuffing with typically? What utensil?
A spoon?
A ladle?
It could be a ladle, but maybe a large spoon, right? So I think he, when it comes to shutting down the Yak.
So Tariq Woolen needs to have a heck of a game.
Perfect. Yes. I don't count on Tariq Woolen to tackle too much. Cover, yes. Tackle, no. Spoon, that tackling, being around the line of scrimmage, doing his things, 100% need that. And I think, I was thinking about this game as sitting by the poolside as I'm in Florida this week, which is delightful. And I'm like, look, I think to beat the Niners, we're going to have a dominant defensive game by somebody. So going back to that 2019 year, we got that Jadeveon Clowney insane game. They were like 7-0. The Niners are 8-0 at that point. It was a November game, and we beat them on, I think it was Thursday Night Football. And some things carrying over here, and Clowney went bananas, and he owned the entire game. And if I look across and say, who's our all-pro talent? It's Spoon. Like, that's our all-pro guy. So, and if we're going to shut down the Niners, it starts with CMC. Spoon's got to be our Clowney for this night, and then going forward, he's got to have that holy crap, 1 sack, 2 batted down pat, like that insane type of game. So Spoon for the win, scoop the stuffing, shut down CMC. Need it.
I like it. And Spoon might come up again in the question. So I'm glad you already are there. We're looking forward to seeing him live. Second question from Stuffing Clinton. What if you could stuff Shane's playbook with delicious plays? What types or philosophies would you jam in there as we face this Niner team, Clinton?
Yeah, a little over the middle and through the woods to Jerome Bettis' house we go. Let's combine those things, because I run the ball at the middle, and use the middle of the field. I know I take 2 off the plate, but to go to 1 more often than not. I watched the Kansas City Eagles game last night. Good game, and the Eagles come out on top, and they shut Kansas City down. And to me, I'm sitting there going, well, the first half.
Did the Chiefs receivers shut Kansas City down?
But here's the deal, right? So great question. But it leads to my exact point, was that they really couldn't stop Pacheco in the first half. Pacheco runs like a wild person. It's kind of funny. With that, they couldn't really stuff Pacheco. And then they relied to, I felt like they got overweight on the pass, and they could not come back with the pass. And then they dropped a bunch of passes. But watching that team, like first half yesterday, Kansas City's up 10 at halftime, dominating play, and they kind of, to me, stop running the ball. So, like, watch that, see what's happening, and stuff Waldron with like, hey, if we could do one thing differently, if we just ran the ball more against the Rams, I think we win that game. I think we do. So I guess, Brandon, over to you. But is there more? Is there something more nuanced than that, or is it the surface level thing?
I mean, Greenlaw and Warner. Do we want to go right at Greenlaw and Warner? Maybe we
That's
do. I don't
kind of
know.
where I'm thinking is that against a team like the Niners up the middle and running the ball, because the Niners are one of the better run defense teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
And do we want to play into that strength when it has been kind of one of the weaknesses of this offense? I think you attack kind of the way that you have been. You want to attack more on the perimeter. You do want to do a little bit more short stuff. So whether that's screen game, whether it's the bubbles, I think I would like to actually see more of that. Now, I didn't think that was the way to go in some of the previous games against other teams that we were facing, but against the Niners, I feel like it's that type of matchup that it's they're going to need to be able to beat this Niners defense.
Yeah, I'd like some middle of the field. I think the Niners safeties can be got a little bit. I mean, like Hufanga is really good in the short stuff. He's good in the run game. I think we can beat him over the middle with some of
He's
those
hurt.
cross.
He's hurt.
And
He's
he's
out.
not even playing?
He tore his ACL. He's gone.
Okay.
I mean, and he's such a good player. I think you're talking about exposing an area of his, but he is kind of he's all over the field. He's gone. He's out for the year. Unless I saw wrong, I think he's torn ACL is my last I saw.
Oh wow.
I'm looking here. Yeah, he's out. He's out. I see. I don't see why. I just see that he's out. Good call on that. I already thought safety was a middle of the field passing, but you got to get past like Greenlaw and Warner are both great against passing too. Like, I don't know if we want to go tight ends over the middle against those guys either. It's just.
Well, I know the Niners, I think they're 9th in the league against the run right now, which is good, but it's not elite. It's not elite. And so they haven't been quite as elite as we would think the Niners are usually are. Which is and still to the point, Brandon, if we are more quick hitters and we're using the outside more too, I think for me it's just running the ball with a bit more determination, which I think we got away from again in that Rams game. So
And
hopefully
I think even the run game, well, gosh, it's a little bit of a bummer not having Walker, but we might get to see what Kenny McIntosh has. And one of the things about him was that in space receiving, we saw some really good things from college, in college from him. And so some of those little dump off passes to McIntosh and see what he can do in space, I'd be interested to see what he can do.
Yeah. Good awareness for both picking up the pressure, but also knowing when to release and get open for his quarterback. McIntosh pretty bright out there on the field.
It's a good call. Could be very interesting to see because it's like almost like a forgotten guy in that way, But Brandon, you and Adam got to see him at the practice game before he got hurt, and he was like popping, right? So cool. Yeah, you got me excited.
I like it. Side dishes. Let's go with some side dishes. Brandon, you're first. What if we find a way to handle their edge players? What's that going to take? I mean, we got Chase Young on one side, and then we got Bosa on the other side, who always terrifies me. But Maffei's been having as much success in a lot of areas as Bosa this year, but they have a lot. I mean, they also have guys coming off the bench like Gregory and such. How are we going to handle their edge players in this matchup, Brandon?
I feel pretty confident just based on Charles Cross's performance, Jason Peters' performance. I feel pretty good about our ability to handle the edges when they're straight up pass rushing. The thing that I am worried about though with these guys is when they start to run stunts, and we saw a lot of stunts that the Rams ran against this offensive line, and they struggled to pick them up. So how quickly can the offensive line adjust to that? Because that the 49ers, they're going to look at that, and even with a short week, they're going to go, okay, we can attack this offensive line, send some pressure up the middle, and see if they can handle it. So it's not just our edges then, it's also some of the interior guys that are going to have to worry about that, because I think that they've tended to be so effective on the edge.
Very good. How about you, Clinton? How can we handle their edge guys?
Yeah, I was just trying to see if we heard about Abe Lucas at all, but I think I'm seeing that is he still out? Do we know?
I wouldn't count on it, but maybe.
Right. It should be interesting to see. It also looks like we're in action green. I'm seeing now for the first time here, so maybe blind them, Phil.
Every time I go, it seems like we end up with action green. I don't know what I bring out in that. It's hard to look at sometimes.
If they win, then the color. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
So, I think doing at least a little bit of the 12 and 13 it's got to come back and play. I just think it has to. I know we want to be in more 11 personnel, just evidenced by percentages, and I think we've been getting a bit more dynamic with the use of JSN in 11 personnel. But the game might dictate it differently. Peters was. I don't really understand some of the swapping we were doing still with Forsyth and Peters. And then on the play where Charbonnet only gets 2 yards after the DK play, Peters is gassed. Peters does not get to that linebacker. If he gets a chip on that linebacker, Charbonnet's probably gone for 10 yards and we're winning that ball game. It just is what it is. He's 40-something years old and he's tired by the end of the game. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get Lucas out again. We're recording this Tuesday afternoon, and we just don't know for sure yet. So I think the short answer is the Razors' outcome of the situation here, Phil, like 12 and 13 to try and mitigate. They're good. They're good, though. And with that, I do think running the football effectively leads to play action, leads to a little bit less from the edge guys if they have to be a little bit more. And if they have to respect some of the bubble stuff that Brandon's talking about, well, that's a way to throw them off, too, where they can't just pin their ears back. So it's a bit of a cocktail.
No, I feel like there's some ways. Well, let's talk about another one of our strengths as we keep looking at side dishes. You already started talking about him. I included this side dish because of his name, but also because how we're excited to see him. What if Spoon and the boys, which I believe our corners, our top 3 corners especially, are a huge advantage for us. What if Spoon and the boys can serve up some tasty treats for us in prime time? What splashy moments are you looking to see from our DBs this Thursday, Clinton?
I won't take 2, but I want to, but I won't. I'll leave one on the table. I think we're still going to dial up enough blitzes on Purdy, heat him up, because it can lead to certain things. So if I'm going for splash, then I want the strip sack. I want the strip sack and just see that come through.
Yeah.
Spoon's a very effective blitzer. Not that Jamal can be disruptive, sometimes has problems breaking down, as we know. But even Trey Brown, maybe mix it up a little bit and send Trey, and just kind of get off with one that way that they're not expecting it. Because big play Trey he gets a nickname like that because he has had lots of good turnover worthy plays and turnover plays. So that's all, man. Like I'll leave Brandon some great turkey meat on that thigh there, but heat him up, bring some blitzing, and get in Purdy's head. There's been stretches where he's on fire and he looks unstoppable, and stretches where he looks real pedestrian. We got to get him to look that way.
Clinton wants some side dishes of blitzes from our DBs. Brandon, what kind of splash plays are you looking for?
Yeah, I want to see some. I think pass breakups are splash plays because, one, it means our defensive backs are covering tight. Devin Witherspoon leading the team, 8 pass breakups. The other 2 guys that have been really good about breaking up passes this year, Trey Brown and Julian Love. So, and Tariq Woolen. Actually, all 3 of those guys each have 5. So that was interesting to see that they're spreading it around that way. The next closest, Bobby Wagner. How about that? Right. Not one of the defensive backs like we're talking about, but I thought it was interesting that he had so many this year, and we might be needing a Bobby Wagner game. But I'm counting on our DBs, pass breakups, especially with Ayuk and Debo and a little bit of George Kittle in there too.
I like that. I love PBUs, but yeah, obviously sack fumbles are the best, but PBUs.
Well, and interceptions are great too, but I want our guys in there playing these receivers tight, and I think that would be indicative of them having tight coverage the whole day, and maybe we get a pick in there too.
I like it. On to our next category. Gravy, the most important, greatest ingredient on Thanksgiving. If the gravy's right, the whole meal is going to be good or better. If the gravy's wrong, nothing's right. You're just going to sit over there and eat olives. I mean, what are you going to do if the gravy's wrong? I'm not really even sure if you can have Thanksgiving. You got the wrong person cooking gravy, they can ruin the whole thing. So here we go. Brandon, what if there's one overarching necessity in this game? What must be in this matchup for us to fully enjoy this Thanksgiving night. Our first time ever having a home Thanksgiving game for our Seahawks. What is a necessity? This has got to be on the table.
Ooh, so an aspect of the game that has to be on the table, or else it is ruined. Because if you do have bad gravy, sometimes if you have some decent cranberry sauce like that, that can be an acceptable alternative. But I think on a game like this, you just have to see performances from your big time stars. And so I look to guys like DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and on the defensive side, your Hall of Fame linebacker Bobby Wagner. They have to find a way of those trio of guys to have a big game against this 49ers team. And so if you're getting 70 plus yards from DK, 70 from Tyler, 10 tackles from Bobby, all those three working together, I think it results in a good meal for the Seahawks.
The stars have to perform. Now, thank you, Brandon. I thought you were just going to say win, because obviously that's the easy answer.
It was. I was going to go there, but then I knew that you might take exception to that particular answer.
That would lessen the value, because I know, Brandon, you have so much to add for our hearers. You have a lot to give, and if you go to that easy answer, then it just disappoints. So that's part of my job.
See, I knew you were expecting it this time, and so I had to come up with something, and including the bit about the cranberry sauce gave me a little bit time to formulate an answer beyond just winning.
Love it. Stars performing. How about you, Clinton? What's a necessity besides winning?
Yeah, so it's going to be a bit specific. The thing that has plagued us last year against the Niners and in years past have been those open, like, free plays where it's Kittle for 50 and he's not touched. It's CMC on a wheel route and there's nobody covering him, and he goes 60 yards not touched. Ayuk is a monster. I really like Brandon Ayuk as a player. It can't be halftime and it's like 17-13 Niners and one of their scores is a 60-yard free runner. Like, it seems to be every time we play the Niners, they just get these plays where we just botch it. We lose coverage on a critical guy and they go untouched to the end zone. Critical has to be on the. We cannot have that. And I realize that's the antithesis of having something, but
I think it's important enough. I think if that happens, we'll win. I mean, I think if they don't get any of those breakaway, ridiculous Niner versus Seahawk plays, I think we'll win. I think every time they win, there's been one or two of those. Every time they've beaten us, there's been some of those, this guy got out and off he goes, garbage.
Yeah.
So
I think what Clinton's trying to say is that the coverage has to be like gravy on your Thanksgiving plate. The gravy has to be on the dressing. It has to be on the turkey. Shoot, you put it on the green beans. You put it on the fruit salad. I don't even care. The gravy goes on everything.
Smothered, hot, and that's it. On everything. Love it, Brandon.
Smother them. If they touch the ball, they're getting smashed. That's right. I love it. I love gravy. In fact, that's funny, Brandon, because right into my next question, that was my transition. You think about gravy. I want it on everything. I mean, if the gravy's right, I'm going through the line. I always go last for gravy because everything has to be on the plate. And then you just start dumping the phenomenal gravy on it all. And Gino, this is my last question. What if Gino can pour it on in this matchup? What must he do? And here's what I mean. To elevate the play from everybody else on offense, what kind of things, Clinton, are we looking to see Gino like gravy, just making everybody better?
Yeah, so the scary injury, right? We didn't talk about that, obviously, from the last game. Didn't look good off the jump, and it was cool to see him battle back and almost get that win. That would have been an incredible comeback, and just a little bit short there. This is a tough team. Hufanga is a big deal to be out, so that's a big thing in our favor. Still, this is a good team, so I'm not gonna go to like the Geno side of passing, and I'm gonna say Geno getting some with a busted arm a little bit, getting some extension with his legs this time, purposely. So what might that mean? Let's just quantify it. Let's say 2 first downs by foot from Geno in some key scenarios. It doesn't have to be a third down, but some escapability, and then move the chain 2 times with his feet to balance out what's going to be a difficult game. I don't think we're going to all of a sudden go 11 for 15 on third down. I just don't think that's in the cards. We don't see it.
That'd be awesome.
Right, but it's very unlikely, right? So it's way more likely we're hovering between 40 and 50% on third downs anyway. So let's get a couple of those by foot and keep the ball those extra possessions. That's what I'd love to see.
How about you, Brandon? What can Gino do to elevate everyone in this matchup?
Well, and I think that a lot like you waiting in line to be the last one to go with the gravy, it kind of works into Gino's favor too. Like just having time is important. And so he's going to get that time, he's going to need the help from the offensive line. And it's also going to be a little bit of a timing factor on his part too, because a lot like in the Cleveland Browns game, they did not want to get beat by Myles Garrett. And Nick Bosa is a similar type of player that you have to worry about that guy on every play. Even if you double team him, he can split double teams and find a way to get to the quarterback. So whether it's timing in terms of quick throws, quick accurate throws, or getting some time from his offensive line to be able to hit those receivers down the field, it's all going to depend on the timing for Gino.
Timing to set up protection, timing to get into the right play, timing to see what Warner's doing and solve it.
From time to time on 3rd and 3, run the ball. From time to time, don't have 5 guys 10 yards downfield, right?
Time after time playing over the Lumen Field loudspeakers.
Yeah. If there's 29 seconds of time, don't hand the ball to Charbonnet up the middle, maybe. Right. Just some things like that.
Things like little things.
Okay. All right. There's so many time songs you could go into at this point. I don't even know how we end up we always end up at time, but it is about time, and it's about time we get to our wishes. This is it. Speaking of time, this is our shortest week, and we got the most wishes that we've ever had. So I think we need all the wishes. Thanksgiving wishes, please come true, right?
Love it.
Jason Bonner, his wish, Seahawks win so that I can enjoy my Thanksgiving dinner even more with the side of my family that are 49er fans.
Nice.
I got a grimace reaction to myself on that one. Okay, so let's see here. What else do I got? I got this great big iPad I'm trying to read them off of. Someone else had the same thing. KDO heading into Weiner's territory for Thanksgiving for the first time in 15 years. Maybe a huge mistake, but it could be really fun, KDO. Could be fun. Jason, hopefully we're the ones laughing in the end. Car, wish we actually remember to run the ball in the second half. I tried to think of something more specific, but still not over that messy catfish loss that we had. So Jason Bonner, one on that note, wish that Charbonnet angry runs all night long. Okay, so these are Clinton's wishing fans. Wish the Seahawks defense turns Purdy into a pumpkin. Okay. We didn't talk about Purdy except for at the beginning, but I would like a Purdy pumpkin. That'd be beautiful. Design Beach House. I think her name is just there so that Brandon and I can get tongue twisted when we read them. Kenny Max shows us what we've heard about for so long. Oh, that's a long one. Speaking of Brandon, he mentioned that in this episode. Yeah. Red Wagon, wish not to be embarrassed. Okay. We can wish for more than that, Red Wagon. We can wish for more than that. And someone said that was a solid one. I'll take a valiant defeat at this point. I know that really negative town chat talk. However, if we play a solid game and don't come out on top, I'm okay with that at this point in the season. We're not okay with this, Red Wagon. There's no Thanksgiving meal that's good without gravy. There's no Seahawk Weiner game where we lose that is good. So I can't take your wish. I'm throwing that back in.
Back out of the Goonie style, right? The coin comes back.
Sorry. I appreciate the effort at being
not good enough. Try harder next time, Red Wagon.
Yeah. Do better. Okay, Levine the Good Life, spoon pick 6 on Purdy. That would be so beautiful, and I'll be there to see it. And that's my son's favorite player already, both of them. And so they want to see that.
Smart boys, Phil. Smart boys.
Yeah. Car said, I was thinking the same thing, or this would be much easier if we get a pick 6 in a key moment. Yeah. It's always easier when you get sack fumbles and returns for TDs or pick 6s. I would love that. But now we're going to get to our co-hosts' wishes so we can get to their predictions, unless you had something to touch on from our flock wishers.
I'm good. That was a great, I would just say great well wishing this week. And I like the fact that you put you put a level there. You said, no, that's like, appreciate it, but we're going to reject that one. We're sticking with just the buys for W's. So I
That's the
appreciate
first wish I've ever denied. So we're
it. Got to
pretty
show people
benevolent here.
that, this is that there are some ways here to get in, right? So
Being okay with losing to the whiners is not a wish I can abide on this show. So
love it.
Don't try that again. Okay, Brandon will go first.
All right. Well, my what if Super Hawk. Now, I don't know. I might have to appeal to the judges for a ruling on this one, but I really like the story that this what if Super Hawk provides, because I am going with Pete Carroll to get the victory in this game. And I'm coming with the sidecar too, Phil. But the reason why I'm going with Pete Carroll, he is tied with Kyle's old man, Mike Shanahan, with 178 all-time wins. So if Pete Carroll gets the win on Thanksgiving, he moves past Kyle's old man and up into, I believe, 12th or sole possession of 13th place all-time most combined wins between the playoffs and the regular season. And he does it, Phil, by not losing a challenge during the game.
I thought it was going to be a penalty-based one, but I'll take a challenge. No challenge losses. Okay, so victory, no challenge. And I will say, I forgot to say this before the intro. Brandon was waiting. You won both ways. You won by the point margin, and you got your wish. We're all losers because of the game, but Brandon is a winner in his competition of predicting versus Clinton. So no challenge losses. He doesn't have to win one. He just can't lose one. Is that right, Brandon?
Correct.
Okay. Clinton, you're...
So if he doesn't challenge anything, it doesn't matter.
Right. It's still right. Then it's just a W. I'm fine with that. I will sign off on that.
We want the W for Pete. Yeah. Clinton, who's your what if Super Hawk before we get to Brandon's score prediction?
Yeah, we've been hearing a lot about these pick sixes in the flock in the Discord, and my brain was going there. I'll deviate just slightly, and I'll go back to the strip sack. Right. So I'm gonna go. Let's go heavy here. Let's go with a. Hey, heck it. Who cares? Let's go specific. Let's get a Jordan Brooks touchdown. Let's just go. Let's go. Jordan Brooks touchdown. Strip sack.
Touchdown. Okay.
I'm going to go all in. They push it all in. Somebody gets a strip sack off the edge. Brooks is there to scoop it up. He almost had that versus the Jets. No, versus the Giants, sorry, in the Meadowlands. He did scoop it up. He was kind of tackled at like the 10-yard line or so. This time he takes it back to the house, and we're all thankful for it. So
that's like a Hail Mary wish. That's like you're throwing it into the wishing well from, a couple yards over. That's pretty good.
For Red Wagon, right? So I had to go.
Yeah. So let's do it. Jordan Brooks gets a touchdown. And Brandon, your score prediction for this matchup.
My score prediction is that the Seahawks win 22-20. And it is a last-minute field goal by Jason Myers. Redemption for our field goal kicker who missed the game winner. He does it against the Niners and gets the win.
Now he's going from every other year of being great to every other game he makes it. He gets the kick. He gets to try every game. He make one, miss one, and then make one this game. That'd be just fine. And then he can miss one against the Eagles and do it again against the Niners, and I'll be fine.
That would actually be okay. I'd sign for that.
Clinton, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm not going to ever pick the Seahawks to lose. So it ain't happening.
It's just a prediction. It's not your pick. So go ahead.
Right, correct. Well, I know, but still.
Is that your sneaky way of saying what you expect, but not what you're going to predict?
Niners are good. They're playing good football, and they're playing better than we are. We're home, and we're a pretty good football team. So with that, 24-23 Seahawks. 24-23. As super nail bitey as it gets. We don't know how to play games that are not stupid nail bitey anyway. So it goes without saying. I don't know how. Somehow, some way, we get this W. I'll just harken back to remembering when the Niners were 8-0 or 7-0, and Clowney owned that entire game. And the Seahawks, I think, won that one in overtime, and that was in 2019. We're going to need that superhero Herculean effort. It'll be Spoon, and we're going to somehow get this W. And it's going to be really, really awesome, and I'm fired up for it.
I would love that. 24-3 is just fine. Anything else you guys need to add about this game that we left off in the preview.
I left room for Clinton to $1 me, and he did it.
That's his only way of winning. I just did the math on all this because you've got to win, and then Pete has to win. If the Seahawks lose, Clinton locked it in. So pretty much, if we win, Brandon wins. Unless there's a Brooks touchdown.
You guys don't need to. Yeah, you guys don't need to worry about this. This is a strip sack from Witherspoon with Brooks scooping it up, scooping that stuffing, pouring it on, hot and heavy, and for the win. So and then it'll just cascade. The whole thing will be hit, and you guys will be like actually really happy with me for hitting that one, and I'll be grateful.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everyone! If you're
Happy
thankful,
Thanksgiving.
subscribe. If you love the Seahawks, subscribe. Hit the thumbs up. We're glad that you listened. Anything that people need to know, Brandon?
Getintheflock.com if you want to become a member. Join us on game day. There's even places for Red Wagon in Negative Town now on the Discord. So if you're a negative person and you want a place where people like you, come join in.
He's happy no matter what. He's happy with whatever. And I think, speaking of with that, gentlemen,
there's only one thing left to say.
What if we say go Hawks?
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. We're more thankful than Weiner fans.
Yeah.